is the Lourdes and Chris Show.
This brilliant, amazing, brighter than all things possible is my wife, Lourdes. And I'm more excited than a camel on Wednesday.
A camel on Wednesday.
Hump day.
Look at me.
So, sort of a special presentation this evening. Tonight, we have a special session with our Dr. Grant, who is our
doctor.
Our in-house.
In-house. Is the deal? I have this dyslexia, and I have to always like slow down just so that I don't screw it up.
This is a special edition of the Lourdes and Chris Show because we're featuring our in-house doctor of the quantum field, Dr. Grant. Now, we asked you guys some time ago to reach out with questions that you may have for the good Dr. Grant, and you reached out and you gave us some questions. And tonight, we're just going to ask the good Dr. Grant these questions, and he's going to give you the answer. So that's tonight's sesh.
Yep. This will be every month, once a month.
So look for this about once a month. Yeah. And then before we get into it, though, we do want to thank all you folks that donated and continue to donate and to make the Lourdes and Chris Show possible and happening.
Yes.
And so we appreciate you. If you do want to donate and you're like, oh, I didn't know I could, you can go to
the lourdesandchrisshow.com because there's two places right there that you can just click on each one. And it's a total of different places you can actually donate. So just click on one. If those two don't work, click to the next one, and one of those will.
Yeah, and the other thing that you could also consider is that you can actually get a hold of Dr. Grant through the lourdesandchrisshow.com as well. And if you haven't already signed up for the newsletter, then you probably should.
Yeah, you should.
And if you have questions about Dr. Grant after seeing this episode, if he didn't expand on something, or if he could expand on something a little bit further, you can simply reach out to Lourdes or myself. You can email us both with those questions, and then we'll be able to help you out with that.
And which you can get it right there at the lourdesandchrisshow.com. But also sometimes, he may be answering a question, gets into depth, and you go, wait a minute. And some other thought or question popped up out of that question or that answer. Just let us know. Put it in the comments.
If his answers gave you a question, give us that question so he can answer that and give you another question.
Yes. Here is Dr. Grant.
Hello. Dr. Grant, it's so good to see you.
Thank you so much, Chris. Lourdes, same here. Really great to see you too.
Yeah, you look fantastic, by the way. I don't know if it's the lighting down there or what's happening for you. You look great.
The camera's far away from my face. You can't tell that I'm an old man.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, of course, Dr. Grant, you're our in-house doctor of the quantum field. And so we're doing a new segment now, or we're doing a new type of show where folks can ask us questions and about the whole spirituality of things, the quantum field and all that stuff, and
energy
and energies and things like that. And we're collecting those questions and we're going to ask you. And so you were kind enough to give us your time for that. So thank you so much for being here.
I'm really honored to do this. I'm looking forward to the questions.
Now, I'm going to answer a question that a lot of people have guessed. No one got it right. Dr. Grant, go ahead and tell people where you're from.
Originally.
Say that again.
Go ahead and tell people where you're from originally.
Oh, where I'm from? Yeah, I'm from Canada.
There it is.
Windsor, Ontario.
No one won the shiny nickel. I laid out a bet that if anybody can guess where your accent was from, they get a shiny nickel from me. No one got it. So,
you get
time expired. Time expired. No shiny nickel from me.
For them.
From me.
Oh, from you.
Yeah, because you started in Canada and then you worked your way through the States and now you're over in Thailand.
Yeah, that's right. I left Canada in 1991 after an enlightenment experience, a deep state, and that altered my life. So I moved within two or 3 months of that experience. I was in California, and that's where I developed my school, the Dosatsu Ken Dojo. That's where I taught the United States military, NASA scientists. I worked with homeless, and so I was a professional live-in dojo. And then when that was closed, when the landlord died and his son literally commandeered the dojo out of my hands, I went back to school and became a licensed doctor and married Tammy there in Texas. And then I graduated in Texas and we went to Georgia. I had 2 private practices there. And then I moved here in 2015. So in 2014, I was a senior staff doctor at another clinic in Tennessee. And I used to drive back and forth every week. And I'd stay there all week, and then I'd come home and see Tammy on the weekend.
So well versed of the States, he's been all over the States. He's almost like myself. I don't know if everybody knows my backstory. I was a military brat, so I was bounced all over the place. So So a lot of the same vibe there. Not from Canada though, from Minnesota, just your neighbor to the south. So,
Yeah.
so sometimes it comes through, especially when I'm talking to somebody and it just kind of rattles off, and then they go, "You're from Minnesota," and I go, oh yeah, from Minnesota." So I'm sorry. So we've been asking people to go ahead and send in their questions. So if you don't mind, we're going to go right into some of the questions that we've got for you because you're our in-house doctor of the quantum field. So the first one came through. Do you want to go ahead and ask?
Yeah. So they wanted to know, is it necessary to have good deeds for the health of the body, mind, and soul?
Oh, what an interesting question. So this is a karmic question. So fundamentally, the way that works, everything, the universe is comprised of a few different things. You have the like just the basic, all that is, and it's like formless and it's unknowable. Okay, it's not unknown, it's unknowable. You have the divine, or the Param Jyoti, which is a civilization of beings that are what you could think of sort of like gods or angels or the all of that kind of world. That they're very real. They are omnipotent and omnipresent, but they are not omnipotent. So they are not all powerful. And then you have the Akashic records. And what is the Akashic record? Akashic records is like a giant supercomputer, which is conscious, and it everything is there since the beginning to the end, forever. Everything is there, and it runs on mathematical laws that are exact. So everything that's recorded, if a microbe moves to the left and does something, that's recorded. If you do something, it's recorded. And it's all exactly, it's all run with exactitude. Everything that's ever happened anywhere throughout ever, it's all handled by the Akashic records. And then you have the fourth one would be what you could call the dark side. Dark side is a real thing. So when you are living your life and you are performing deeds of some kind, there's karma for that. So the basic idea is if you do good karma, good things, you get good karma. Now that's way the hell oversimplified, because we are receiving the karma of our past lives that we pick up with our antenna array. You will receive karma from your ancestors. So if your grandpa did something real bad, you can unfortunately receive the karma from that now. And you're innocent. It's just it hits you, and it's there. Then you have the karma of your society and your country, and then there's the global karma, and all the karma is a very big subject. So do you have to have good deeds to have good health in the body? Certainly good deeds are nice, but we can easily envision a person like Hitler who has vibrant health and loves massacring millions of people. The karma will catch up to him later. But if you see, I used to meet mafia guys when I was a bouncer in Detroit, and they murder all kinds of people and destroy lives and everything, and they were as healthy as a horse. So that is not a direct correlation, no. However, the karma does catch up, and there's not just this life. Things carry on. You know, Bruce Lipton, the great microbiologist, has now proven with quantum biology, we are not our body and we're not in our body. The body is an antenna that's picking up the signal. The signal is coming from the outside, not from the inside. And so with that kind of understanding, that changes the landscape rather dramatically. So if our body drops dead right now, nothing happened to you. just the body's gone. So where are you? Well, that's the whole world of karma and the deeper story, eh? Does that help?
Yeah,
that
no,
was great.
it does.
That was great. I love that explanation. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so funny because on a side note, a story that I heard growing up, I don't know if it's 100% true or not, but my dad's last name was Toomey.
Oh, right.
And the reason why it was Toomey and not O Toomey, which as I understand was the way it was originally spelled, was because his grandfather was something like a horse thief or something, and the family didn't want to be associated. So I hear you when you say the ancestral thing, because like right there, my dad's family changed their name because they didn't want to be associated with that horse thief back in the day. So
way back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. So, but having said that, so is there something that we can do, like? If my grandfather was a horrible person and I've inherited his karma, he wasn't. He was a great guy, by the way. But if that's the case, is there something that we can actively do now to try and offset that?
That's another very good question. That kind of realm is fundamentally, you need like grace from the divine. That's why the most important thing when you want to deal with this type of that level of existence, always bond with your divine. Learn how to bond and cultivate the bond, because the karmas are written into the programs. There's 10 programs which control everything. Okay, everything and anything, and the programs can be rewritten. They can be rearranged, but they have to be rearranged by the divine. My programs were rearranged to a certain degree in 2014. That's why I'm here and I'm wealthy now. I used to be lived a very different life and was poor as a church mouse, and it didn't make any difference what I did. So what you can do is, there's a couple of things you do. One is appeal to your divine to rewrite that and correct that karma. And I've been told that by Sri Bhagavan, all karmas cannot be corrected. Depends, but most can. And then you can do ceremonies. I teach a lot of my clients to do a 3-day ceremony. I think I had you guys do one for your ancestors, to have your ancestors liberated from any negative karma and to be moved into the light. Because you want the blessing of, we need the blessing of our ancestors so that our life moves smoothly. If all the ancestors are really happy with us, it directly affects your life here. Same with most especially mom and dad, right? So the answer is, one, request it and ask the divine for support that way. Do those types of ceremonies in a ceremonious fashion, asking that your ancestors are liberated, they're moved into the light, and you're very grateful for that. And then you ask that your programs, if there's any negative karma affecting your life from your ancestral line or from a past life line, if there's any negative karma, you ask that you are liberated from it. If you still feel that none of that's working, you can get a hold of me, because with depth healing, I have the ability through the divine to clear that.
Amazing. Yeah, no, thank you so much. And actually,
on that note,
it's like you're all pro, Dr. Grant, with this timing, because we do have to take a commercial break real quick. So we're going to go on a break. We're going to say hello to our sponsor, Dr. Newsom, and then we're going to come right back and get back into some of these questions.
Yes.
Okay, I look forward to it. Thank you.
Super Earth Energy.
Super Earth Energy.
For nearly 2 decades, Dr. Newsom was developing this formula.
This one.
2 decades of his life. Nearly 2 decades.
I mean, that's really dedication to giving you the best quality of a supplement that's going to give you not only energy, I mean, it improves adrenal and,
Well, so it improves your adrenal and muscle fatigue. Yep. It actually helps with chronic fatigue syndrome, a compromised immune system, sleep deficit, brain fog.
Which meaning are experiencing a low sexual desire. I mean, this 2 decades. There's a reason. He put a great formula together. He formulated, and it's just amazing. Like, we love it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's like we were just telling our daughter the other day. It's not like it gives you like a caffeine jittery feeling. It's more like you're just awake.
Yeah, like, you know, when you were a kid and you you didn't feel, kids they seem to not get tired. So it's kind of that. You don't go, oh, I feel like all this caffeine. It's none of that, because I personally can't do caffeine. It really, it causes me nausea, migraines. I just can't do caffeine. But I take this and I just don't feel tired. I can spend a whole day really getting a lot of things done and not feel exhausted, or I have to take a nap, or I still do my meditation stuff, but oh my gosh, amazing. It's because it's giving you energy at a cellular level. Now, all you have to do to get this product is go to www.drnewsom.com and look for Super Earth Energy. We've got it ourselves, but we should do a little, like, still show them what that bottle looks like. And there it is, Super Earth Energy. That's right. Go to drnewsom.com. Yes. drnewsom.com. In fact, right here, we see the link. Oh, see, now I got to put it there. I was going to put it there now, but now it's got to be there. Or he can still put it here, but definitely here. It's going to be 2 places now. Super Earth Energy. And we're back. We are back, and we've got Dr. Grant with us. He is our in-house doctor of the quantum field. And so this little session tonight we're actually asking Dr. Grant some questions that you, the viewers, have asked us to ask him. So without further ado, I'll get right back into the next question, which is kind of, it feels like the opposite of what we just asked about, which is somebody wanted to know, how does what we put into our body affect us spiritually? So I think energetically. And I think what they're saying is, does junk food affect us spiritually? Does McDonald's, does salad? I mean, you know, how does what we're putting into our body affect us in that realm?
That's a very excellent question. Really simple to answer too. So for the viewers, if you want to see something interesting, go see if you can get yourself over to something like the ballet or a symphony orchestra presentation, something like that, or opera, okay? So something like that. And then along with that side, if that's too much trouble or too expensive, go to a vegan restaurant, something like vegan. Then you go over to local McDonald's and Burger King and hang out for a while, okay? And just observe the people. Very quickly, you will see there's really quite a significant difference. Another difference you'll find, if you engage in conversation with the people, you'll start to find some differences also. So McDonald's and all that stuff is, of course, pure like trash, with a vibration of like sludge under the ground somewhere, right? You can actually look at that with energetic instrumentation, which they have, and you'll see that the energetic signature of something like McDonald's, which is non-biodegradable garbage, it looks like cancer, okay?
Interesting. This
is like following the work of Emoto, who's done the energetics on water crystals for looking at vibration. So what happens is, let's say you have a vibration. If you're a healthy, positive, and in tune human being, let's say you have a vibration of 10. And then you go down to McDonald's and you swallow a bunch of garbage that has a vibration of like 0.1. So now you just took, it's like an anchor on a boat. You got a dead weight in your energy field, and it acts as a pollution. So it pulls you down, and then that kind of junk, the body doesn't know what it is, and it's trying to digest it and assimilate it. Takes a tremendous amount of energy to do that because it's unnatural garbage. So its own vibration, first of all, hits your system and is a huge drain. Number two, it's like a mutation. So it's causing your genes and your body to either create mutation to use it, or or it always takes an enormous amount of time to digest that garbage. So that's taking your energy. And all of that is affecting your consciousness and your moods. It's all energy, right? So if you're putting it in your body, if you put in, let's take it a way step higher. Look at a breatharian, like Nassim Haramein was a breatharian for 3 years. There's thousands of breatharians all through the United States. What are they? They never eat and they never drink at all. They don't. All their energy is coming directly from the field and from the sun, and they're extremely healthy, enormously energetic. And they've been studying those people with like functional MRIs and that, and it's absolutely incredible. And that takes and that sort of throws a monkey wrench into everything we know with nutrition, right? But the point is, it's refined energies, and natural foods are refined energies. Synthetic foods are garbage, and it will absolutely affect your consciousness, your spirituality, your everything.
Yeah, it's funny because Lourdes has told a few people that have reached out to for assistance that they need to look at high vibration food. Yeah. And it's just amazing how many people are like, high vibration of food. Like, it's confusing to them that's even a term.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you think of life in general, you know, either you're vibrating at a higher level, whether it's your mind, body, or spirit, or you're not, or you're at a lower level. And there's all these different frequencies. It's in everything. So if you're eating food that is at a very low vibration, you're bringing that stuff down. It makes so complete sense of everything you were saying. It's like, yes, there are high vibrational foods, and it definitely isn't fast food, synthetic food that people eat that are cancer causers.
Yeah, and by extension, when Lourdes and I had to go to Mexico, and we're about to do an episode on Mexico and a trip to Mexico.
Yeah.
When we went to Mexico for Lourdes to get well, the only things that we brought with us as far as entertainment were comedies, things that we can laugh about. So by extension, you know, this question was specifically about food, but I think it could be said that in general, no matter what you're subjecting yourself to, will affect you vibrationally one way or the other. So that's
absolutely. Yeah, when you're laughing, that's a well-studied phenomenon, and then your vibe, everything, you're being filled with endorphins, and your brain is happy. It's got the nicest mixture of brain cocktail for health, for vibrant, for recovery, for everything. Everything, folks. The only thing you're looking at when you open your eyes is nothing but energy, all different energies, and it's like a giant symphony orchestra. And the skillful way to live is select which music you want to listen to. You know?
I mean, that makes sense. And if you're listening to music that you go, oh, but I love it, and you're loving something that is saying, it's feeding your subconscious mind all this
anger,
and you think it's, you know, it's, then you wonder why your life is kind of offset.
That's been one of my peeves ever since I was a child, because I always understood this stuff. You remember I told you about different populations? It's very simple when you talk about music, because music is primordial. If you look at a group of people and their behavior and consciousness, all you got to do is sit back as an observer. People that are listening to something like rap, and then you look at somebody that's listening to something like even Motown, the old Motown, or an orchestra, or one of the old singers like Dean Martin or something. Completely different consciousness, behavior, attitude, you could measure metrics like anger, frustration, stress. You'll find them enormously different.
No, that makes sense though, because it's like anytime you go, I remember many years ago, I won't mention names, but there was a friend of ours who we were at, remember we were at that like club play, I forget why we were there. Oh, it was a
red
premiere.
carpet event.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the music was so loud and thumping, and it wasn't like, like classical, because you wouldn't put that blasted anyway. But it was so loud that you could. And what was our friend said?
She said it hurts her heart.
She goes, "Oh, it hurts my heart." It's like it felt like it was just pounding on her, and that's how loud. Now I'm going, why do we listen to music so loud we can't hear anything else? Like it's just like you can't hear a thing after you leave that place.
Yeah, you damage you. I'm sure you're aware of it. The loudness damages the little hairs in your ear, and you actually lose your hearing. And then the pounding. See, there's like when they did studies on people that use Reiki, like I'm a Reiki master. Reiki is a pulsed energy frequency. It acts as a pulse. When you go to that kind of music, Lourdes, let's say we got Mike Tyson here, who's just, ultra tough, and I hit his face like this. To Mike Tyson, it's like slapping himself awake in the morning when he's shaving, right?
Right.
But if I add frequency, duration, and intensity, so I hit, but I keep doing it all day, do you think it's going to start bothering him?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, every time I hit my hand, like the sound of that beat in the music hits your body. That's why she feels it impacting her heart. When I touch that, a frequency goes through what I touch. Certain amount of vibe goes in, and a certain amount of vibe comes back into me. Okay.
Right.
So the sound that she's describing with the guard when they do stuff like that, even if it's real nice music, but it's way too loud, it overwhelms, and then the frequency starts to cause damage. It causes decoherence because you're not made or designed for that.
In fact, I think there was a study done that different frequencies, and that's a question further down, but different frequencies, there were different hertz back in the day. You mentioned Motown, you mentioned some of the Dean Martin and all that. Music itself has changed frequencies over the years, and they've measured that. And so that's, but we do have to take a break. Right. So I don't want to go down too far down that road, but we will take a break, and we'll come right back. And then my sister reached out with a question, and it's about chakras. So when we come back, we'll ask about that.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Super Digest,
one of the one of the strongest digestive formulas on the market.
And again, this makes sense, right? Dr. Newsom, but now you guys are seeing a theme, right? Dr. Newsom just does the best because that's what he does.
And when it comes to your digestive system, because that's where you get the most of, nutrition, you definitely want it to be amazing.
The top notch.
Yep. And this is like 10 types of active digestive enzymes to enhance your digestion of protein,
fats, and carbs, as well as pineapple proteolytic enzyme and papaya proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic. It sounds like an era of dinosaurs, doesn't it?
Yeah, proteolytic.
This dinosaur was found in the Proteolytic era.
I just like saying proteolytic.
Yeah, that's actually our new word now. We're just going around saying proteolytic.
Hey, it's got pineapple proteolytic.
We never had to learn proteolytic until we met Dr. Newsom, and now we understand what proteolytic is. It's an enzyme that actually helps you break down protein.
And by the way, and carbs, and you need the enzymes to break down the proteins and carbs and the stuff that you need, because that's how you get your nutrition.
Right, and so this one has like 10, right?
Yes.
10 of types of active digestive enzymes.
Active, there's a key.
Yeah, they're not
active
sleepy. They're not sleepy enzymes.
No.
They're not just like, well, okay. No, they're active. They're running around.
Taking 10 types of active digestive enzymes.
So you want to go to www.drnewsom.com, look for Super Digest that my lovely model wife assistant is holding.
And by the way, the products we share, it's because we take them.
We're using them.
Because we love what it does for our bodies. It's really good. So you guys definitely, oh my gosh.
Digestion is crucial to your health, and that's why Dr. Newsom has created this Super Digest.
If you have issues with your digestive system, you're going to want Super Digest.
That's right.
Yep. Super Digest.
And we are back with Dr. Grant, and as promised, my sister had a question, and she reached out to me and she said, I know it's kind of a broad question. So she just doesn't know about, she knows chakras exist. She just doesn't get it or what it's about. Like, what's this whole chakra thing? And she's been told by many people she needs to get her chakras aligned and things like that. She just doesn't, it's like speaking a foreign language for her. So I said, well, I'll ask Dr. Grant. He'll be the best guy to explain that to us.
Okay. So, sounds like just some good general knowledge would be a nice place to start.
Right.
So, when you think of chakras, I want you to think of transformers. And you have a transformer. A certain amount of electricity comes in from the wall to the transformer, and then a whole lot of electricity can go out, or it can become much less, because the transformer changes how much power that electricity has. I don't know if you call that voltage or what. I don't know that stuff. But anyway, it's a transformer. So chakras are like a series of transformers. And there's two ways you can look: from the ground up, from Mother Earth up, and then from the heavens down. And they're going to meet. When you look at the energy fields of a human being, everything meets and centers in the heart, at the heart chakra called the Anahata. And so from the heavens, there's like a transpersonal point that you'll hear someone like Dispenza will call it the transpersonal. Some spiritual people call it the soul star chakra. So it's like a little portal that's above you. And the energies, very high frequency energies that are from the universe, or you could think sort of divine, or from the sun, okay? Like the divine masculine energy is coming down, and it goes through the top of the crown called the Sahasrara. These words are from India. And it has a color. It's like a pinkish purple. And that pinkish purple color is the frequency. The colors are frequencies. And then it comes down into the center of your head at the third eye called the Agnya. And that's like a really dark, deep, bluish purple. Okay. Then it comes down to the throat chakra called the Vishuddhi, which is like a turquoise blue. Then it comes down to the Anahata, the heart chakra, which is green. Green is the frequency of love, just pure unconditional love. I always like to use like emerald green. Then you go just below that at the solar plexus is the Manipura, which is yellow. Now the Manipura has to do with once we go below the heart, now we're talking the earth, the human life part of you. So now the Manipura has to do with your personal power, your success, and so forth, like that, your position. You go below that, around the belly button area, is the Swadhisthana, which is orange. The Swadhisthana is like the quality of your life. Opulent, happy, rich, sensual, or very poor, destitute, angry, don't have anything. That's the Swadhisthana. And then finally, at the very bottom, at the base of your spine, is the Manipura, which is bright red, and that's where the Kundalini rests originally. That is the primordial energy that gives life and everything else. Now, if we go from the ground up, we're connected through Mother Earth, like a little line that anchors all the way down to the core of Mother Earth. You can think of the core of Mother Earth like the Earth's womb, okay? And the Earth, by the way, is conscious. It's a living thing, and that's another story. So the energy from Mother Earth coming up, and it comes into the Manipura, and that gives you your vitality and so forth. And if we come up, if the Kundalini and the energy and consciousness come up into the Swadhisthana, that starts to grow, and that is reflected in the quality of your life and how you're perceiving your life. Everything is about perceiving your life, but the Swadhisthana is the quality of your earthly life and happiness and so forth. You come up into the Manipura, which becomes extra important at a certain point in our life where we want to get our career, maybe become married, our social identity, and all of those things. So that needs to really be vibrant. So you got a red, then the orange, and then the yellow. And that you can think of that very highly personal. But when you go up into the heart, now you're merging the spiritual life with the earthly life. And there is the self-love, and then there's love for the other. So consciousness at the heart is very big, and it's able to expand outward so that we don't only care about ourselves, we can care about everyone else in the world, our family, our community, so forth and so on. Okay, so the heart consciousness, now we're talking high. And then you come up into the Vishuddhi. If that is activated, you're able to express what you want, what you need. And most important here is what we call inner integrity, is the ability to know what the truth is for you, and then ability to speak that, so that you're in alignment with integrity. And then if this one gets awakened and is active, now we're looking at levels of enlightenment, the ability to have transpersonal understanding of things, and spiritual. This is a real big boy. A lot of people think they have their agnya open, but they don't. And they don't. It's a person is very, very special. It's a special situation. If the Sahasrara gets awakened, you're looking at full enlightenment. The self is no longer identified with, and then that's a whole different ball game. That's very, 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 very high. And then everything, the earth and spirit, they get integrated and mixed at the heart. Huh. That's why if you look at the Heart Math Institute, you can see the torus. They have the instruments now to look at the energy field, and you'll see the big funnel from the top comes down to the heart and then funnels back out, because it's a torus. It's a big circulating feed forward, feed backward system, and that's the quantum field. I don't know if I answered your sister's question, but that's a little bit. So chakras are energy vortexes, and the Sahasrara, when it comes down to the Agnya, it's going to change the high, difficult information to understand, a little bit more easier to understand, a little bit more easier to understand, a little bit more easier to understand, and then it cascade going down or coming up. Most spiritual people were concerned with it rising. So you come from the earth, because we're in a physical body, we're a living being, so we have to come from the earth up. We want the Kundalini to rise, rise, rise. Kundalini is the activating energy. And then when it hits the different chakras, they spin, they activate. And when they activate, the level of understanding and consciousness that chakra is in charge of becomes available. I think that's a better answer for your system.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love that because you know, as you were talking, it's so funny. I'm listening to how, you know, all these things affect us. Like, in we think of the chakras and our health and our heart, and we don't speak our truths, and we keep, you know, you end up with issues here. But I love it because I thought, oh, isn't that funny? I'm thinking you talk about Mother Earth, right? And then you talk about the, you know, the heavens, right? But you think of like mom and dad, right? And just the whole, right? And it's like, and you have dad, right? Our Heavenly Father, who then on this earth brings out life, you know, like in all life. Not even talking about animals and plants and human beings, but it was that came through birth of Mother Earth. So just when as you were talking, it was like that just kind of clicked for me. I'm like, wow, that was really deep.
That's right. That's right. That's why divine masculine, Sun, divine feminine, Gaia, Mother Earth, and you put the two together. That's why a man's sperm, the eggs are in the woman's womb, and the sperm, when it penetrates, bam, it initiates. Right. So you have a planet, and let's say a planet was in complete darkness. If all of a sudden it's given sunlight, everything can germinate.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah,
I love that.
No, I love that. And then, you know, Jen, if you're watching, and I know you are because you're a fan of the show, if Dr. Grant has answered your question, awesome. But if you have another question about it, we're going to do this again with Dr. Grant so that you can ask further.
Please ask.
Yeah, and go a little bit deeper with it. So we are going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back, and then got one more question for you, but we're also going to tie it into kind of what you do and what we're all about. So
yes,
we'll be right back.
All right.
Don't go anywhere. Dr. Newsom's Inflamagon.
It's powerful anti-inflammatory botanical formula.
So this bad boy's got curcumin, and he gets that curcumin from organic turmeric root.
Yes, which is important. We want organic. And freeze-dried frankincense oil.
Freeze-dried frankincense oil is boswellic acid, actually. Boswellic acid.
I love these words.
I know. Our vocabulary has been so expanded since we started working with Dr. Newsom.
Yes.
You know, and that's boswellic acid is important because it's one of the things that help you. It actually helps with inflammation, but it also is an inhibitor for tumors.
Yeah.
So
so why not prevent or get rid of if you have one of those things or you don't know you have it yet?
Yeah, right. And why just jump ahead of it? Because this formula is bound to Dr. Newsom's unique fulvic acid and humic acid.
Which, by the way, those two minerals that you really do need if you want to stay healthy. And it gives maximum absorption and anti-inflammatory action. You're likely dealing with inflammation. Yes, because most people don't realize that if you end up with certain pains and aches, that's inflammation. Inflammation causes aches and pains to let you know there's an issue.
And prolonged inflammation is really what causes these chronic illnesses, to and including cancer. So
we take this as well, and it's amazing. In fact, real quick tidbit, even as a thin person, I always had this little pouch, but since I've been taking this, I'm like, I must have had inflammation because that little pouch is gone.
Goodbye pouch, no more punch. So you want to go to www.drnewsom.com. Get that anti-inflammatory formula of his in Inflamagon. I love the name Inflamagon.
Like it's gone.
Inflamagon.
Inflam is gone.
We love it.
We do.
I'll let that one slide. We love it. We know that you love it too because look, inflammation is something that you really want to work out of your system right now.
Yeah, like if you want to avoid health issues, when you have too much inflammation just creates, and especially if it's consistently going on,
right.
It causes diseases, it causes illnesses. Who wants to be sick?
And you can trust Inflamagon because it comes from Dr. Newsom, and
we trust it.
We trust it, and we love it.
And we take this sucker daily.
Love it.
We like to prevent. we are back.
Yeah, we're back. So, Dr. Grant, again, I just want to thank you again for being on the show with us. The Ask Dr. Grant sessions. We're going to be doing more of these.
Yep.
He's
every month. So if you guys have questions, by the way, and you can ask underneath here, or you can contact us, so that every month we're going to be doing this, because he's given us his time. And mind you, he's a very busy man. And even with all that, he's given us his time, which we are beyond grateful for.
So grateful. He's our in-house doctor of the quantum field.
Yes. And
that's why we've got questions that were coming in for you. So this last one, someone watched the episode that we had on with you, or you were talking about what you do, and you kind of clear trauma from people. And her question was, when you clear the trauma, how quickly does that trauma go away for them, and can it be triggered back into their field? So
like if they see their ex.
Yeah, she specifically asked, if I see my ex, because she's got some sort of trauma with that. If I see my ex in my back, is it back in my field that quickly? So I guess that was the question that she had.
It's an excellent question. So here's the way it works. When I do depth healing, everything happens right then and there in real time. Okay, so that's a fact. So here's the trick. If this is a relationship issue, when I say I clear it and it's gone. So when it's gone, it's gone. But I want you to understand what I removed is very surgical. It's very, very, very surgical. So depending on our question and our focus, that is removed. So let's say when you were 9 years old, you were raped in your bedroom by your brother's boyfriend, who was 16. I'll clear that. When I clear it, that event is gone, period. Now, if you see that guy years later, it will be nothing. In your case, it sounds like this is an ex. It was a big relationship. You're a couple of adults. Let's say I clear it so you're not in pain anymore, and then you run into him. The best way because when you run into him, he can activate stuff that we didn't touch, that we didn't discuss. I didn't know it was there. We didn't find it. So it's still laying latent. And by seeing him or hearing him, so, like for instance, I was telling one of my clients this morning, she was commenting that when because she's working on her consciousness very strongly with the divine and me, and when she's with her mom, she gets activated. And I said, yes, because your subconscious is only your mom and your dad. It's none of you at all. So when of course, since she's everything in there, when you see her or listen to her, everything is activated, because you can't just remove all of your mom from your subconscious field, because that's the database, your mom, your dad, and whoever, until you were 7 years old. So what I do, if you want it so that when you see your ex, it doesn't touch you at all, I can do that. That's called an energy exchange. And when I do an energy exchange, what I do is it's like I separate you forever. So all of you that is invested in him is pulled out of him back to you, purified and pristine. And all of him in you is removed and goes back to him. So what happens with an energy exchange is it's like as if you two never met in your life. And you get the energy exchange. Energy exchange starts to work right away, but it gets stronger and stronger. And eventually you'll find you'll never think of his name. If you saw him or ran into him, there's absolutely nothing at all. And the same for him. He will completely forget you it'll be as if you never existed. If it's a real powerful love affair, like when I left my ex-wife, I loved Tammy very, very much. She loved me. It took me something like 6 energy exchanges to finally be clear of that. But the energy exchange is extremely powerful, and then it will eliminate that problem.
Now, does it mean that it took longer because you were with her for so long and you had that many more, that many experiences?
I was with her for 13 years, so that's a good point, Lourdes. There's that, and then there's the fact that, see, we really loved each other. It's just it couldn't work. So it was she don't want to leave me. I don't really want to leave her, but it's necessary. There's no way to make it work. It's just not going to happen. And so we know the truth of that, but there's all the feelings and the love and the commitment and all the different things, all the promises I made that I wasn't able to keep. So all of that stuff has to be removed. Once it's removed, it's 100%. But you have to go. Most people, just one energy exchange, it's done. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, it makes sense once you remove something. It's no longer a reason to have, because even when you're having those feelings, you can feel the energy on it. But if you're removing that energy, there's no reason to have that there. Yeah.
See, you two right now, there's a ton of Lourdes in Chris, and there's a ton of Chris in Lourdes.
Yeah,
true.
So imagine what we do is I do it through a special visualization meditation. All of you that is in him, it leaves like a stream from his belly, one from his heart, and one from his eyes. And it's you. And it's all coming back to you through a filter. And then the same goes for Chris. I got myself confused. And there's streams coming from you, and they're exchanging. So what happens is when it's done, it's like two strangers. Then you wish each other well, and you leave. You go your own ways. I have a special way that I, especially if it's a painful for my client and that's painful for them. I have a way where I completely remove the other person so that they could never, ever, ever come back.
Nice.
It's a twist that I learned from a British metaphysician long time ago. If I do a clearing between two people and it's just clearing, you have to understand that all clearings are specific to the exact question. That's why when I do morphic field work, I deal with that. See, when I do morphic field work, I have a huge collective of people, and we have a common question. I can join all of the people, however many there are, they can be thousands. They make a cloud. Then I put the question into that cloud. The answer will show up from the cumulative subconscious minds of all participants, just like looking for a submarine in the Pacific Ocean. The ocean is the field, the cloud, and you want to find a submarine. So they have sonars and radars that look for the frequency. They find the frequency blip of the submarine. So I have a cloud of related to the question would be something about how to let go of and never be hurt again from someone who hurt me. So we would find the wording for it. When I pose the question in the cloud, the answer will appear. I erase the answer. When I erase it, it erases for everybody at the same time. And because all those different people make up so many angles to the same question, the chances of anything remaining is next to nothing.
So it's interesting. So the more people, the more powerful, because the more energy and the more focus on every angle.
That, honey, is the key to everything. That's why the pandemic and all that stuff, that whoever has the largest field is always wins and dominates and controls. Always. Because it's field work.
Right. I mean, it makes sense because, and they know that, right? Because that's why they made sure that in every news outlet and in every article and in every social media, they made sure that no one went outside of what was said. If you say something opposite of that, then they would censor you, they would remove that, or they'd put that little thing up saying misinformation, blah, blah. So they're already feeding people that anybody that says any truth, all they have to say that it's misinformation, and then they tell you what they say is true.
It's something that we're dealing
Now,
with.
can I speak freely here, or is this going to be censored too?
Hasn't so far.
We have lost a couple of episodes on certain.
Yeah, but the whole conversation was what they didn't like,
Yeah.
So yeah.
But like where you're going to broadcast this, is it safe from those guys?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Because as I said before, what they did was, you see, that the easiest kind of morphic field to create is one of fear, because the self, the human self, which is an illusion. The self is a concept, but the self, in order for it to live, it's based in fear. Remove fear, the self goes away. So they made a morphic field in fear, and of course, what is easier than fear of a pandemic? Why? Because, I don't know how many decades now they've already done all of the programming for the global world to be afraid of a pandemic. So all of the preset programming is there in the field, in their conscious. Then all you do is initiate it. And as you can see, every media avenue, all of the hospital system, every system there is has already been bought out, paid for. The masks were pre-made. All of the 5G towers were. Do you know how much? Organization it takes to be able to have that in place on a global scale, so
Absolutely.
that in 1 week they can shut down the entire world?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
they were working on it for a long time.
Oh, so then see. That field is the dominant field. So people like us, we are in a different morphic field. It's a powerful field with a higher frequency, but the problem is it's small. And it's like the subconscious to the conscious brain. Conscious brain has the power of 1, subconscious power of 1 million. It's a 1 million to 1 ratio. That's why cognitive dissonance wins.
Got it.
So that's why Shriyama Bhagavan, they are trying to make the 74,000 enlightened people by 2024, which is the strongest morphic field ever conceived, because the 74,000, it's an exponent. It'll be 74,000 into 74,000.
Sure. With
each one able to influence, each person will be able to influence 100,000 individuals. So with that kind of field, if we get the numbers, it will overthrow the anything. It doesn't make any difference what it is. Any war, anything will just come to a dead stop instantly.
I love that.
But they have to have the numbers. See, it's a numbers game.
And they know that. That's why they did what they did, because they are just a few compared to us many. But they're the few that are controlling what is being seen and heard.
Exactly.
Look at Southeast Asia. There isn't enough consciousness in Southeast Asia to put on an eyedropper. There's nobody here that's conscious, or does at all. They just obey. And that includes all of Japan. That's China. we found out that I found out recently, China is so against the conscious movement of Sri Ama Bhagavan, they cannot even get a Zoom call anymore anywhere in China, and they actually imprisoned the organizers that were trying to just get people together to meditate. Yeah. Oh, that's like right now. So if you think of how many millions or billions are in Asia who are completely asleep and obey without question, So that's in terms of the global. The dark side is very strong right now.
Yeah. All right,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate.
So, and then I wanted to before we got to break off, because Jesus, so good. I wanted to keep going, but before we break off, people can reach out to us to get to you as well, or they can go to your website, which is Depth Healing.
Yep.
.org. Depthhealing.org.
And you'll also, if you go on to the LourdesandChrisShow.com, you will also have see a link there as well that you can click on and go straight to Dr. Grant and his website. Yeah,
I'll do my very best for you folks, and then I'm really glad whoever the audience is that you guys are with Chris and Lourdes, because really she the absolute expert. I refer people to her or call her for advice all the time.
It's reciprocating.
That's absolutely.
So, and if you have questions that you wanted to ask Dr. Grant and we didn't cover it today, then please, again, in the comments below, because this is live right now, or if you reach out to the LourdesandChrisShow.com, just send us an email, say, hey, I wanted to know from Dr. Grant XYZ, and he's the guy.
And don't forget, you guys can ask me anything. I counsel for life engineering, for business, for it doesn't make any difference to me. I just want to help. That's all I want to do is help.
That's why you're one of the good ones.
Yes.
So thank you again for coming on. We appreciate it greatly.
Yes.
I really thank you, both of you, so much. I send you a big hug.
We'll take it. Take it back at you.
Bye.
Right.
So wow, right? I mean, just amazing.
Isn't he great?
He's phenomenal.
I loved how he answered it.
I'm telling you.
Just so in depth, right?
Time flies when we're dealing with Dr. Grant because what he says is not only intriguing, but it just feels like he kind of messes with time as he's talking to us. I'm going to have to ask him about that. The next time we have Ask Dr. Grant on, which will be about once a month, I'm going to have to ask
Are you bending time?
Are you bending time when you're talking with us, Dr. Grant? Because it seems to go really fast. So if you have any questions, if this show, if you heard an answer from him and you're like, oh, but that gave me this question.
Yeah, if it triggered another question.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments, because we are doing this every single month. So
that's right. So the Ask Dr. Grant, our in-house doctor of the quantum field, he'll be answering these questions for us as we go forward once a month. Yep. So please just send the questions on over. You can go to the LourdesandChrisShow.com and ask us the questions there via email, or if you wanted to comment below. We're always live with people too, by the way, when we're on. So you should, So we'll write down those questions and ask him as well.
Yes.
But yeah, and then if you can actually get a hold of Dr. Grant through our website, the LourdesandChrisShow.com. So you want to head over there. And then, as always, we do want to really, really, really give a really super duper heartfelt thanks to Dr. Newsom.
Yes.
And of course, his lovely wife, Gina.
Yes, they're both extraordinary human beings that we love dearly. They are out there changing lives and getting people from sick to health.
Yeah.
And they actually are the true, you get places where you go to the doctor, it's like, oh, my doctor, but they actually are more of a sick care, and he's all about healthcare.
Yeah, he's truly healthcare.
Yep.
And so if you haven't gone onto Dr. Newsom's website, you can certainly do so. It's drnewsom.com. If you go onto that website, make sure you sign up for his mailing list, because he's got a lot that goes through that mailing list.
Yes. In fact, when you sign up and subscribe, you'll know anything that's coming up, any events, anything, including recipes, healthy, delicious recipes. Because everything he does is not only delicious, but he makes sure that it's also healthful. You don't want to just eat something, go, oh, I took this, but I ate this, and it's breaking things down. So everything that he does actually goes into the recipes, the ingredients, and what they're good for. So you want to check that out.
And never mind that we wholeheartedly, absolutely love Dr. Newsom's products, and you can find them also on the drnewsom.com there. Yep. And the Inflammagon, the Super Energy.
And when he sends emails, he also if there's a, like discounts, 25% off here, 15% off there on his product. So you definitely want to sign up for his emails.
Yeah, absolutely. So we love Dr. Newsom. We're so grateful that he's a partner of ours.
Yes.
So, but you can also follow us on not just the LourdesandChrisShow.com, although you should.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram. Lourdes is on Instagram. We're
Facebook,
on Facebook. We're on
TikTok.
YouTube, TikTok. Yeah. So we're out there. So if you haven't started following us, you really should.
Yes.
We love it. And we're going to see you again in about a week. Every Thursday, remember, the Lourdes and Chris Show is going to come out, and you're going to see us and say hello.
Yeah.
We love that.
And again, any questions for Dr. Grant, we'll be putting those together for the following month.
That's right. So we love you. We appreciate you. And we can't wait to see you again in about a week.
Definitely.
We can't wait.